Hi, I'm Yolanda Powell, the transformational strategist and communications coach here at www.yolandapowell.com. And I am thrilled that you have joined me today for our Propel Presentation Systems training. It's exciting to know that your voice, I said your voice, can be heard all over the world just because you have a message. And from my own experiences going way back in the day, I knew that I had something to share, but my voice was small. My life was raggedy, and everything about me seemed to be so out of whack. So today, I have come through some things and propelled over some things, and I'm taking you with me. I'm taking you to the heights so that we, you and I together, can learn how important it is to share our story, to craft the journey that we have been on, to be able to connect with folks from all cultures transcontinentally, and to tell folks what life and struggle and pursuit and victory is all about. So here at the Spoken Word International, we are concerned about you, your business, your life, all of the things that you're involved in. And we are committed to help you learn how to speak, how to communicate, and how to articulate the very deep things of your heart. We're going to position you over times of training and times of instruction to take you into poise and presence and power. Yeah, you need to say power. No more little voice. No more I can't speak. No more I don't know what to say. It's your time, and I'm here transformationally to help you transcontinentally take your words to the world. Well, today we're excited to have an audience here and to be able to share with them the motivating things that are going to help them craft their story and connect with their audience. And I'm really excited about all of you being here today with me, because today is the beginning of the rest of your life and mine. You know, for many years I've been doing ministry and speaking. I've been dealing with all kinds of folks in schools and in college levels, talking and sharing. But it's just been recently that I understood the big picture. That a lot of times when we have had things happen in our lives, it's because we must tell it. We must share it. We must express it so that folks who are where we were can help get where we're going. And only by connecting, only by touching, only by vocalizing where we've been can we really make a difference. So today, we are going to talk 3 points I want to share with you today about heart speak. And can you say that? Heart speak. Heart speak. And heart speak is really not about being perfect. It's not about communicating out of that head knowledge. It's not about expertise and whether you have credentials and whether you've been trained in school or if you've gone and got an MBA. It's really not about that. Heart speak is about the things that you have experienced, the way you have taken, the hardships and struggles you have endured, and the ability to be able to look at all those pieces, all of that journey, all of that struggle, and be able to heart speak, not head speak. To be able to connect with others who are like you and folk who are so different than you, but your lives are the same. They parallel, they cross, they connect in so many ways. And I believe, because I've studied all forms of literature and biblical studies and on language pieces, I understand that the power of communication is one of the greatest abilities and tools we have in the world globally. Just to be able to look someone in the eye and tell them how you feel can change their life. The ability to share your broken down story and then come alive with how you made it over and how you stepped into another place can help somebody who was where you were make it. And so communicating, sharing, heart speaking becomes critical for that. Now the question becomes, and I hear this a lot of times as I'm training and helping folks to make that propelling point, as we call it, to a new level. of communication where you're not just doing the Dale Carnegie, I have to stand straight and speak. That's not this. Say not. It is not. It is not about perfection. It is not about being polished. Let me tell you a little bit about my story, because I know that I didn't get this just by thinking, oh, it's about perfect. When I was in high school, I failed the functional literacy test. It was horrible. I was a good student, I thought, or average, average student. And I had this inability, I believe, to hold on to rote knowledge. Whenever someone said something, I could never remember and memorize it exactly. I could synthesize and I could summarize, but I could never just remember the whole point. I could never recall all of the number patterns. It just left me. And even to this day, it's the same way. That's why doing something like even speaking in front of camera is different for me, because I like to just shoot from the hip. I like to just talk it out from the heart. And yet, when you do things structured, you got to remember a lot of things. Well, the functional literacy test happened in the 11th grade, and my guidance counselor said, you got to pass this test or you won't graduate. My mother was making plans. She was saying, Lord, if you don't graduate, we'll have to send you away to North Carolina or Georgia, somewhere with relatives so people won't know. It was just terrible, because in the back of my mind, I was thinking, is something wrong with me? How is it that I cannot remember vast and segments amount of information? And so what happened was that I did study a little bit. I did get it together. And I had a lot of people in my corner who supported me. But I had an English teacher who had taught my mother. And she reminded me constantly, you're going to be dumb just like your mama. She got pregnant at 16. And she had you out of wedlock, and that's why you came past the functional literacy test. And it was heart-wrenching, because no matter how much I tried, that voice, y'all know about the voice was constantly in the back of my head, that I could not grasp hard things, even multiplication tables. Okay, wait a minute. Or when you count numbers, you kind of don't use your fingers, and Mom used to bang those fingers because you have to get this. But what I found is that I did have a gift, and it wasn't like everybody else. I had the ability to talk and to share, but I had this comprehension and this inference, this takeaway that other people listened to, not the regulars who could do it perfect. And so that's my journey, and that's where I'm inviting you to. I'm saying to you, you don't have to be perfect and memorize it all. Just speak from your heart. Just say it so that people feel it. It's really what Heart Speak is about. Heart Speak is about, I have been somewhere and I have something to say. And many times in life, stuff like my English teacher will take your voice. Accusations and criticism will snuff out your voice. Things that people accuse you of, or your inability to academically or financially or socially or relationally make it or connect, will steal the most important thing that I believe God as creator gave to every man. And that's the ability to speak. So Power Speak and Heart Speak go together. It's when you know that there's power in your situation and your sharing that can help somebody else. So I've crafted 3 things that I believe, as I've looked over life and I've looked over circumstances, that I believe can help us. And part of that is that whenever you want to craft your story, like I'm learning to do mine and remember back, is that you've got to take folks on I would call it a cruise down memory lane. That would be number 1. Point number 1, take them, the audience, probably even after you've done your own thinking through, because part of your past and part of your pain and part of all of the stuff that you've gone through is part of connections. It's how you will connect with your audience. So number 1 of Heart Speak is cruise down memory lane. And in doing so, what you're going to tell your audience is where you've been. You're going to help them know that you haven't always been in front of a camera, that you always haven't been with your makeup on, that you always haven't had your suit jacket and your tie and your shine shoes. You're going to let them know that I've been in some mucky situations, I've been in some crazy stuff, and you're going to help that audience go back with you down memory lane. They're going to take a part journey with you in that history. And in that place, they're going to really see you for who you really were, because you got to show that. You have to be transparent. You know, I've known lots of big money speakers, and I'm learning to see platform presenters, and they look so polished. They sound so perfect that you would say, how can I ever tell it? But if you really want to be a top-notch speaker and you really want to be able to stand in front of an audience, you have to tell your own story. It's not about telling something else. It's not about having a lot of knowledge. It's not even about being the expert. Sometimes I don't know nothing, but this I know. And so it's very critical to take the audience on a cruise, to take them with you to the places that were painful, to take them backwards into that place where you first begin to say, will I ever make it out of this? Will I ever surmount this impossibility? Will I ever get my mind out of this hole that I'm in? And by taking the audience back, you begin to connect with them in ways you never thought possible. So HeartSpeak, how to craft your story and connect with your audience, begins from that cruise. Because they need to be able to answer the question, where you been? What you been through? Do you know my pain? Can I trust you to talk and speak into my life? Is there credibility in what you have endured? Because if you faking it, I don't listen to you. If you real polished, perhaps you don't have the goods I need, because I don't know about polished. I don't know about being perfect. Everything in my life have been so scratched up and so imperfect. I really don't want to listen to somebody who has all the goods to say and all of the stuff that's perfect. I need some folk who can relate to me. And what I'm saying to you is that part of your past is part of your connection. So you take them down memory lane. The second thing that you do is that you begin to cascade them into your present moment. You cascade, you begin to move them a little swiftly into now where you have arrived to. How did you get from who you are to where you've been to who you are today? You got it? And so who you are today, they've got to make the connection. Now, you was a bad butt back then, and you couldn't do this then, and you failed in that then, but who are you now? Who have you become? How has life made you the person you are? And so you cascade them as a real skate. It's a real movement. But you tell them the other part of the story, the present part. You got past, say past. Past. But then you move them into present. Say that. And the present, the place where you reside and where the spot, that sweet spot that you rely in now, and that you know, God, I'm trusting that this spot will be like that one that was. I got from there, here, and so I'm going to get from here to where I want to go. So you stop and you tell the audience about what you're thinking about doing in business now, or what you're doing in ministry, or what your calling is in the school system, or what you're doing in medicine or in legal, whatever your business, whatever your industry, and you want to make that connection with your audience. You begin to tell them how you arrived where you are. And for me, I believe the thing that has made the difference from being functionally illiterate and not knowing how to remember anything and not having recall and all of that was that I began to love words. I had a love for words, but because there were so many inabilities in my brain to hold them, I just began to court them. I began to court words and to love them, and to read and read out loud and say it so that I could at least love it, not memorize it. And that love for words, whether it was the Bible or whether it was Chaucer or whether it was Richard Wright, whatever it was in any culture, I began to just have a love affair with words. And so words began to frame my personality, to frame my mindset, to change that voice of my English teacher. And I began to hear a new voice. I just began to hear, you have an ability. And my grandma had told me that, but her voice had become very small. Grandma said, when you were born, Yolanda, you were born with a silver tongue. Well, because my brain didn't do what I wanted, I didn't know that my mouth would. And so I was just like, I don't know how to really do this. But then I began to hear, because see, mom had said one thing, the teacher had said one thing, the principal had said other, the guy, all of these voices. But now I was beginning to hear my own voice. Begin to resonate with my own love for the words that meant something out of my own heart. And so heart speak in the present is why I'm here right now doing what I'm doing. I am pastoring on one level with my husband, and yet I am taking women and men into business ventures, to platforms to speak in another, because now I have a voice. Because now my voice, though I cannot remember the words before I say them, I can say them and understand and comprehend them, and you can feel them. And that means more to me than just trying to make sure I can recall it. And so I'm very, very thankful for this present moment. This place that I'm cascading you to is that I conquered functional literacy to bring you into articulated lives. I have taken over the thing that took me over, and I have stepped into this place and said, come on, y'all, we can do this. And I'm leading the pack. So here at Yolanda Powell Transcontinental, we're just helping folk take that next step into heart speaking. And so you cascade them into, I'm building a business now, and I'm on the web, and I'm transforming lives by the power of the spoken word. I'm changing and shifting across continents, whether they're Korean or African or European or Australian, to tell them you have words, use them and do not hold them. And so that's empowering. And then the last piece would be, once you've just kind of cruised them backwards into memory lane, and you cascaded with them into your present powwow, where you are now and where you've arrived. The third thing that you must do, because that's only half the story, is that you must catapult them to a mountaintop view of what you see coming. They've got to know that you're just not a person who got through something and arrived somewhere, but that you're going. You're going to a destination. You see, as Martin King said, we see from the mountaintop. We have dreams. We have visions. We have desires. And so your audience needs to hear your dreams. I need to hear your stories. They need to know where you're going with what your big ideas are, your grand ideas. And so it becomes important to bring them catapult. It's a little more different than cruising and cascading. You got to say, now look at this. Can we not take the world? Can we not dominate in business? Can we not change the lives of children? Can we not move on college campuses and bring a word that will change 50 generations? We've got to catapult them to the vision that we have from the mountaintop. Sounds like a preacher. You might want to say amen if you want to right there. Because really that's what it's about. It's about power that comes from the heart, not power that comes from the head. It's about being so clear in what you see that other people can climb up there with you out of their obscurity and out of their anonymity and out of their sense of I don't know. And they could say, wow, I see that for me too. I'm inspired that if you came out of that, functional literacy, can't remember nothing, came past the test, and then you moved into a love affair with words, and you begin to read and do all this, then maybe you can change nations. Maybe you can, and there you becomes me. That I can do something particularly special in the world. So that's heart speed. First you cruise, you go down memory lane. Second, you cascade them into your present now. But you always take them in the future. You always lead them high. You always lead them up saying, whatever you've been through and wherever you've come from, that's not where you're going. That's not how you're going to end this thing. Your plot and your plan is not going to end with where you even are now. It's greater things to come. So find us on www.yolandapowell.com. We are transforming lives by the power of the spoken word, so that wherever you've missed it and wherever it's not perfect, like I'm not, you will see that it's possible. And we're excited about the relationship. God bless you. And we look forward to working with you, coaching and thriving together into new heights.